All right. First and foremost, let me rise and give praise to the great God of the universal law. I give honor to his noble, illustrious prophet, Prophet Noble Drew Ali. I give honor to everything that pertains to Moorish. I give honor to you in the chat, because without you, it wouldn't be no purpose for me to do this. And I hope that we say something today that you can take with you to help you through your day, tomorrow, or tonight. It is what it is. But with that, family, tonight we're going to be talking about Moorish provocateurs. And Moorish provocateurs are those who always seeking to cause confusion. Always seeking to cause confusion. They find something that they can try to pick at or try to pick apart, and the whole purpose is to cause confusion. But before I start, let my brother come into the chat, introduce himself, and then I'm going to lay it out as to exactly what we're talking about, because I'm going to let you hear it from the guy himself who initiated this. But first, let my brother introduce himself. Brother, come into the chat real quick, and then I'm going to swear it out, lay it out, and then I'm going to let you take it away for a second.
Islam, this brother Hernandez L, chairman of Temple 16, calling from Atlanta, Georgia. Just wanted to say Islam to the family. I want to give my honors and my praises to Allah. Extend the honors to all of the listeners. For when man honors man, he honors his Father God, Allah. And let's go.
Let's go. So first, let me bring it to the let me get you the guy that actually did this. I think I have it in my I think I actually have it somewhere in my folder. I'm trying to bring it out now. Hey, brother, do you have that link?
Which one is that?
The link where the brother, I'm trying to get you the YouTube page.
Yeah. That's
send me that link real quick, because I want to play for the audience so we can set it up and let people know exactly what we're talking about.
I don't have the exact link, but it's called Moor Means Dead.
Yeah, I got it. I'm about to bring it up now. Work with me, family.
Yeah.
I'm gonna bring it up in 1 second. I just gotta find it real quick. It ain't hard to find, because I've been going through it as early as today. And the reason I was going through it, because I wanted to make sure that I was on point as to what I was talking about. I want to also make a disclaimer that if the brother is watching, I got it. I want to make a disclaimer that if the brother is watching, I want him to know that, let me look at the camera. I got to look at the camera first, because I got it now. Let me look at the camera. I want to let the brother know. I want to let the brother know that this is not a personal attack. I want to let the brother know that it's all about scholarship. I want the brother to know. I got Triple Moore. I got you, brother. I got you. I got the email address. I'm going to hit you. I want the brother to know that this is not an attack. I want the brother to know that this is all about scholarship, because there's nothing you can do with a holy and divine prophet. So first, I want to direct your attention to where the brother said Moor means dead. But before I do that, I want you to show you that how he came at Moors sideways before we even thought about touching this subject. So I'm going to direct your attention. Listen closely. Matter of fact, I like to share people's stuff so y'all can actually go there and check it out. So I'm going to start it right here. Listen to this.
Founded in reality by the whites in our offspring, the whites in our offspring pushing us to embrace Islam, embrace a false identity, a false religion, a foolish doctrine. And then we have black people running around promoting this nonsense. Just like the whites in our offspring.
Watch it.
Please, all of the broadcasts, everything that we're doing, the workshops for behavioral health professionals, as well as workshops for substance abuse abstinence, ritual methods for substance abuse abstinence.
He's just talking now, but hold up.
And overcome that. As you know, just
this is what he called more signs of foolish doctrine. I just want to play this.
Groups, which is again started by the whites and our offspring and our people, enslaved.
He says that more signs, Nation of Islam, and Hebrew religions or Moor Science, Nation of Islam, and Hebrew thought in America was started by, quote unquote, the white man.
Going along with that nonsense, you have other groups trying to get involved in white occult, pseudoscience, pseudo-metaphysics, pseudo-spirituality, pseudo-New Age spirituality, getting involved in transcendental meditation based on Hindu culture, based on Vedanta.
Now he's saying that everything that we follow is basically based on pseudo-metaphysic Hindu culture. That's number one. Now, number two, now I could go in on this brother. I don't know this brother. He don't know me. But listen to the state of his ma'at. This is that Hotep I'm talking about.
Eradicate these foolish doctrines,
include, listen.
But now, and those were the only kind of people they could get typically. But now with the rise of YouTube, they have, the opportunity, as far as they can see, to reach out to millions of people around the world and spread the nonsense that they've been putting out for over 100 years. What happened, however, commensurate.
Now he's talking about the Moor Science Temple of America due to the fact that Moor Science Temple of America is the oldest organization here in North America as it relates to teaching Islam, and basically nationality and civics. For one moment.
With that rise in access was an increase in scrutiny on these organizations that they never had before. In the past, most of our people just dismissed these individuals. They see Moors, they dismiss them. They see Hebrews screaming on the corner talking crazy, they dismiss them. They see Muslims selling bean pies, the final cause, or other sects of Islam, and they typically dismiss them. But now, with the rise of YouTube, yes, there's more access to people, but now people are actually scrutinizing these foolish doctrines, exposing these foolish doctrines, ridiculing and clowning these foolish doctrines, which is very important and very intelligent. It's what we should be doing to eradicate these foolish doctrines, including the largest one, which is, expression, which is Christianity. So they thought they had a lease on life, but now they're seeing that people are actually scrutinizing them, and they never had that kind of scrutiny.
So I'll stop right there. Now, another thing real quick, let me direct your attention real quick to the topic of the show, where he says he's got to eradicate these foolish doctrines. That's what he says. And now let me direct your attention to the 26:3, where he says that Moor means death. Now, and also he said he's not going to challenge any of this. Y'all can challenge him, but he's not going to.
Sometimes with the B,
there you go.
M and B interchangeable. Note that in the language of Kemet, the M and the B sounds can interchange. We have words that the exact same word that is used with the M, also with the B, because the sounds are interchangeable because of the placement of the lips. The same is true in the Akan language. M and B is interchangeable. So the term for blood, moja, M-O-G-Y-A, moja, is also written and pronounced with the B, moja, because boja and moja, one with the B, one with the M, interchangeable. So you'll find, just like you find that in many words in the Akan language, something begins with a B, sometimes it's written with an M, depending on the Akan dialect. You'll find, see if their claim can stand up to scrutiny and all that kind of nonsense. That's not what we're dealing with here. There's a difference between making a claim or stating facts. 2 + 2 = 4, that's a fact. That's irrefutable. No other claim. Somebody can come up and say, well, I have information that proves 2 + 2 = 5. You can just let me present it and let's have a debate. That's nonsense. Nothing they can say can refute the reality that 2 + 2 = 4.
All right. So now let's get into this. Basically what the brother is saying, is that MER and MRU within the Medunetra means death. All times. There is no exception. All times you see MRU and MER, it means death at all times. All right? That's what he's saying. Here we go. My brother, Hernandez L, I want you to take it from here because he says that MER MRU always means death. Take 5 minutes and touch on that for me real quick.
Okay, Islam. So we'll start from here. Like you said, the brother's making a certain claim that Moor means black and that Moor means death, right?
Moor means black and Moor means dead.
Okay. So we're gonna deal with this very, very intensely. Let's
and let me tell you, I think we have him in the chat. All praise be to the great God of the. I'm gonna say it like Dr. Khalid Muhammad. All praise be to Allah.
That's right. So
hey, look, let me say this before you go.
Okay.
Listen, family in the chat. I will ask you, please, not to use foul language. Please express yourself in an intelligent way. I have a mother. I just don't do this for YouTube. My family may be watching. My sons may be watching. I get worked up the way I get worked up. I get worked up at home. This is me. So I'm asking that you please curb your language. Get upset. Get all bent out of shape. But we are intelligent human beings, and we deserve to respect. We deserve the respect that we want from each other. So I appreciate that. This is not no personal beat down, drag down, shoot 'em up, bang, bang demonstration. This is ATM, ching, ching, ATM, another teaching moment. So here we go. I would love for y'all to get engaged in this. I will also open the line if the brother want to call in. No problem. He can call in if he wants to. Nevertheless, brother, take it away, but let's keep the language going. Let's go.
Yes, indeed. So the first thing I want to do, I want to direct the family's attention to a website, and you can find many websites that deal with this topic. I want to first deal with logical fallacies. So you can go to yourlogicalfallacy.com or yourlogicalfallacyis.com, and what you'll find, let's read this first part here. A logical fallacy is a flaw in reasoning. Logical fallacies are like tricks or illusions of thought. They are often very sneakily and used by politicians and the media to fool people. Don't be fooled. Okay. So this particular website, as it says, this website has been designed to help you identify and call out dodgy logic wherever it may raise its ugly and incoherent head. Roll over the icons above and click for examples. If you see someone committing a fallacy, link them to it. Okay. So this brother is committing all types of logical fallacies. And I advise the family to definitely come to this website and do some in-depth study. Now, let me switch screens real quick back to my slideshow. All right. Can you see that, brother?
Yes, sir.
All right. So I'm going to skip past that because we already dealt with the logical fallacy. But if you guys aren't familiar where to find that, that's what the page looks like where that video can be found. So like you said, here he has MRU, and he has that translated as Moors, and he has it as meaning the dead, the damned. Okay. And then you look below, it says Mur, Mut, being Amen, to die, dead, death. And you have Murti and Miti, the dead and the damned. All right. So what I want you to see on that is notice how we have that T in these words. And this is going to come up later, right? So let me move to the next one. Again, he has that MRU as Moors. Now I want to show this, that you won't find this in the same dictionary where he found this. And I'm going to bring that dictionary up. So this does not exist in that dictionary. That's something from what I've been researching, I don't even see this anywhere in that dictionary because I've actually gone through it over the last couple of days.
Hernandez, I would like to put extra emphasis on that you cannot find this. That this guy is this.
Look,
this is what's going on.
Right. That source he made up. He made this up. The screen that you're seeing right now, he made that up.
Bro, the point that I want to get across to people is that anybody can publish a book today. Anybody can do a lecture today. Anybody can go to Blog Talk Radio, and anybody can go to YouTube. But you're going to have to be able to qualify your sources. He says he's not going to qualify anything because 1 + 1 = 2. Well, this 1 + 1, this thing don't equal no 2. So, brother, go ahead from there.
So what I want to show on this page, what I did, I screenshotted his screenshots from that video that he produced. Okay. And so as we see at the top there, one of the definitions for Moor, and we're going to come back to it, it basically means a waste ground, a swampy area, etc. Right. And as you can see there, Mer over to the right, it says in the ancient Kemetic, it's also saying, or I should say the hieratic, it says swampy land. Then you look over to the left there, Mert, desert land, waste, wilderness, right? Then below that, we have Mer, and it's a collection of water, lake, pool, reservoir, etc., etc. Then he has that same glyph that I just were showing where it said Mer, meaning Amen, to die, dead, death. So this already, his logic has been broken in his own picture here, because if he's saying that Mer means death, well, obviously it also means swampland. In the modern English, it also means swampland. And if you look down below, one thing we have to remember is dealing in history and the history of our people. We've always, and people in general, they've always named pretty much the land, the people, and the language share the same name. And as we can see here at the bottom where it says Mera, it says the ancient name of Egypt, the land of Mera, right? And we're going to come back to that as well. So we've already proven the illogical nature of this, because what the brother's not dealing with is context. And see, in context, the word Mer or Moor or Mahdi and many other variations of it have many different varied meanings, whether we're talking about the ancient hieratic or we're talking modern English. And I'm about to show and prove that. So again, here's another one of his slides that he showed. Let's see here. He has Moor at the top, and it says, let me open that up a little bit. From Latin, amorem, love, affection, strong affinity, feeling. Okay, and then you see Amer there in the hieratic, ancient Egypt, says to love, right? Just like Tameri, the beloved land.
But hey, now that you speak of that, can you pause for 1 second, brother?
Sure.
1 second. You said, what would you say? You said Tamari means what?
The beloved land.
You sure? Are you sure about that?
Very sure, brother. And this right here also proves it. We have Ta, and I'm going to get into the Ta, which basically has many meanings as well. But in
let's stop right there for 1 second, though, my brother.
Yes, sir.
Now that you say that, I can bring this up now.
Okay.
Cultivated land. It references the dead land. Mer referencing dead, death, flood, swamp.
Listen.
Why is this so rooted, rising or quote unquote haunting the people who
listen to what he said.
Hanging around the stop sign on the corner where they were shot down and their blood soaked the earth? That spirit is still hanging around that stop sign. So when people come to the stop sign, the people who are receptive, that spirit distracts them, that they get distracted, and then they have a car crash, and it turns out that car crashes are happening on that corner. On the continent, you have spirits who died by a river. Then they distract people. Whoever comes to that river, and that river becomes known as the river where people drown in that river because the individual is distracting people and so forth. Then people go out and do a ritual cleansing to move that spirit on, whether it's any references the land of Mera or Meri, the Mera land. Then we show them a dude for that. People have heard the term Ta Meri, and they think it means the cultivated land, and it doesn't mean the cultivated land.
It's a Ta Meri.
It references the dead land. Mer referencing dead.
Now, ain't nobody never heard that one.
Swamp. Why is this so? It is rooted in the cosmology of ancient Kemet.
So what I wanted to point out is that he says that Ta Meri represent the dead land.
No, it means the beloved land.
Did you hear that though?
Yeah, I heard him.
All right, go ahead, brother. Take it away.
So, I'm gonna go through it kind of quick because I have about 114 slides here.
Good night.
So I'm gonna go to the next one. So this is his other one that he put up. He put up here Moor. It basically means to fasten, a mooring rope. unrecorded Marian to Moor, possibly borrowed from MLG Morin. If you look on, you can also see what he tries to show where in the hieratic where it says mina, mina, mini, which I don't see how this even relates, but it has a similar meaning, to arrive at port, but then it says to die. And then you see minat, again, shipwreck, mooring post. So we're talking again about tying down a ship. So we can see the connection that translates and transmits all the way from the ancient hieratic language into the modern English. And so, but again, he's not dealing with the fact that these words obviously have multiple meanings, right? So even here, he shows at the top where you look at more, it says North African Berber, right? And I don't know if everyone has read this, but I'll go ahead and just read through it. Late 14th century, from French More, from Moris, from Marus, inhabitant of Mauritania, Northwest Africa, a region now corresponding to northern Algeria and Morocco, from the Greek Moros, and then it says perhaps a native name, or else cognate with moros, black. But this adjective only appears in late Greek and may as well be from the people's name as the reverse, because the people were already calling themselves Moors or Mari or Moros or Moro. Being a dark people in relation to Europeans, their name of the Middle Ages was a synonym for Negro. Later in the 16th, 17th century, used indiscriminately as for Muslims, Persians, Arabs, etc., but especially those in India. Right. So then you look down below and you have another meaning for Mer. So it was meaning water, has been meaning some type of death or amen, but now it means servant, peasant, dependent. And then we have here, we already saw that Mera was the ancient name for Egypt, but you see here, Mera also means a female slave. Then you see here, Mert, and you see that's from the Palermo Stele. That actual shot didn't get the final piece at the end, but I also want you to look down to the right where it says Mermut. Again, this is a slide from earlier that he had. It shows also amen, to die and death. So let me move forward. So these were some other slides that he had on there I kind of honed in on. So you can see it says to be oppressed, bound, miserable, mar, right? That's the equivalent, and I'm going to show you that when I get to my actual slides, that in modern English, you also see the term marred, and it basically means a similar thing, and I'll go into that. But you can also see here mar, to be miserable, misery, wretchedness, poverty, affliction, all right? Medua, weak, wretched. Now, I just wanted to put this up so we can know what language we're dealing with. We're dealing with the hieratic, and this was the language concerning the priest and dealt with by the priest, or an ancient Egyptian writing, abridged hieroglyphics used by the priest, right? Of or concerning Egyptian or Greek styles of art, adhering early methods as laid down by religious traditions. So here's the dictionary where he pulled his sources from. But as most people who do not follow a strict code of scholastic methodology, they pick and choose what works for their narrative. So as we look here, this is the Egyptian Hieroglyphic Dictionary by E.A. Wallace Budge. It was actually written by another individual, and E.A. Wallace Budge actually put it out, okay? So this is just another picture from the cover. Now let's look at this one. So Mahdi, Israel, from the Israel Stele, this is the name of a defeated Libyan king. This is key for my Moors, you know. Go ahead and take a look at that one. This is for another conversation, but now I'm going to start showing how disingenuous this brother was by making those statements, making those claims without giving the full context and showing so many different meanings and names and ways that Moor was used and spelled and utilized in ancient Egypt. This is just one of them. Here's another one. Now, M-A-U-R means amen. So merriment, amen with the M-E-R, and now M-A-U-R also means amen. So amen has two transliterations into the word Moor with different spellings, if you will, okay? Now, I want you to look at this. M-A-U-R from the Palermo Stela, the title of the high priest of Anu. Now this is deep, okay? So we're dealing with the high priest as the Moor now, right? So let's look at, this is from a video I did a few years ago called The Pyramid Scheme. The general gets demoted. And here it says, pyramid text of Pepi I in the 6th dynasty, 2300 BCE, the high priest Terranetta of the temples of God, Seth of the cities of the Anu peoples, inscription on Terranetta tile dating around 3100 BCE at the temple of Abydos in Tasseti, or Upper Egypt, or what we would know as Southern Kemet, or Tameri. Now this is Tanetta. Now, I don't know if everybody can see that brother. See his helmet on, got his beard, he's got his loincloth, right? So this is one of the most ancient stelas or hieroglyphics on stone in ancient Egypt, right? And the reason why I'm bringing him up, because Tanetta was one of the high priests of the Anu. This was a Moor, okay? Now, look at what they called him. The nobleman, Terranetta, the devoted one to God. And we know that Moors throughout history have been known as what? Noblemen, the nobles. This is an inscription. This is a drawing of that same picture. And some of you may recognize that from a show called, what is that, Ancient Aliens or something like that. And so what they do, that's a drawing of Terranetta. It's commonly used by so-called scholars and others who claim that the Nile civilization was started by extraterrestrials. But as we can see from the original, that notion is based on a poor drawing of the original stone carving. So I'm gonna show the drawing one more time. I'm gonna show the stone carving. Clear distinction, okay? But this is one of the depictions of an ancient Moor, an ancient high priest. Okay, let's see here. Now, since we're dealing in Kemet, I wanted to deal with, this concept of black and it meaning death, right? So this is dealing with Osiris or Asar. And here it states, this is a quote from, what's the European's name? His name eludes me at this moment, but I can get back to it. The green color alludes to, this is talking about the three colors that Osiris is painted in, green, white, and black in his funerary garb, right? And each color has its own meaning. So the green color alludes to the vegetation which covers the face of the earth and therefore represents the robe of nature. The black represents death and corruption as being the way to a new life and generation. Except the man be born again, he cannot see the kingdom of God. As you can see the quote from the biblical text. White, yellow, and red signify the three principal colors of the alchemical hermetical universal medicine after the blackness of its putrefaction is over. And that's what the prophet meant by, according to science, black means death. It's talking about putrefaction, okay? So let me move forward. Now, if you go to that same dictionary, you will find on page 269, you'll get to the M section, right? And I just wanted you to see first, before I get into all of the different variations of Moor again, look at Ma, okay? This is just to show and prove once more that the brother is disingenuous in saying and trying to make it definitive in saying that what words meant, right? It says, we can see here, Ma meant to slay. It meant to make ready, to prepare. It meant to wrap up in. It meant a gathering of people, troops, recruits. It also meant temple estates and landed property. And it continues to go on, right? Actually, if you go across, you can see it also means like, as, like, likeness, the like, right? These are terms that we're familiar with. So again, totally disingenuous. Now let's look at, notice, remember I said the T at the end was signifying kind of the death part when it came to Mer. So let's stay on the left side first. And if you scroll all the way down. Yes, sir.
1 second. Family, for those who just came into the chat, I want you to know what we're discussing here is that we have a brother who gave the claim that Moor means black, and that black means death. Now, we in the Moor Science Temple of America, we say that black, according to science, means death. And that is a lesson within itself, which can be a whole nother show. But this guy, he studied some form of Egyptology, and he teaches from the perspective. He done a whole book. He did a whole book Can y'all hear me? He did a whole book to say that black means death, that Moor means black and black means death, and that nationality, the Moorish nationality, is pseudo. He did a whole book on this. And so what my brother is doing now is breaking down the meta nature as it relates to Moor, Mar, and everything associated with the terms where the terminology Moor has been drawn from as it relates to the meta nature, i.e. the hieroglyphics. Go ahead, my brother.
Islam. So as we can see, as we scroll down on the left side of page 310, you can see there's a word that we already discussed. One, what do we mean? Rewind the show, you'll see that meta, and I'm going to pull it up again. Meta was one of the names, one of the ancient names for Egypt. And as you can see there, it also means lover. It also means friend. Okay, let's skip to the next page, and it says over to the right side, second one, Mer, which he, made the claim that it meant death. So you can see it means a festival. All right, and then
somebody in the chat, Jelani said, who's speaking? This is the chairman of Temple in Atlanta, Moor Science Temple of America in Atlanta, Hernandez L. He's the chairman.
That's correct.
Moor Science Temple of America in Atlanta. 1 second, Hernandez L. No nonsense approach published. When somebody asked what dictionary is that, Hassan.
Okay.
He said,
I'll scroll back to it so you can see the source. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Okay. That's the Egyptian hieroglyphic dictionary. There's 2 volumes. This is E.A. Wallace Budge. This is the source that the brother was using in his demonstration. So I wanted to use his own source here.
Okay, Brett Hicks, I don't know where. He says, show me where he has a definition of Moor spelt like that. I don't know what Moor like that you're talking about. If you're talking about M-O-O-R, you're not going to find that in the metronetic because that's the English variation.
That's right.
That word was born out of the original language that the Moor word, or one, I don't want people to chop my head off. One of the original language.
There you go.
I'm dealing with the metronetic right now. So you won't find M-O-O-R in there. That is a derivative or a variation of the original word.
And I definitely implore any of the listeners to go back and rewind and watch the entire show so that there may be some things that they might have missed. Because I think I might have covered that ground a little bit. But I'm definitely not done, and I'm technically just getting started. So, like I said, as we see there, it means festival. Then you have the mer, which was also shown to mean death. And here it means gladness. So to be glad. And then we have mer again. This means pleasure. Pleasure boat, in fact. Then we have mer with 2 R's. Again, now we're talking about the beloved one. We already talked about Tameri, the beloved land. Now we're talking about Mer, the beloved one, a title of several gods. Then we have Mary, another modern term for Moors, an historical term for Moors, and it means a title of several gods. Okay, so let me skip to the next one. All right, if you come all the way to the bottom on the left side, you can see Mer again. Now this one, which we showed, he actually showed this from his, or he actually had the female slave part, but as you can see, the servant, the peasant, dependent, I think we did show that. But then he did not show the next page. So look at the right page, the right side of the page, second column, page 311 in the Ancient Egyptian Dictionary. You can see it translates to overseer, chief officer, head superintendent, director, foreman. Okay. Now, if we scroll down a little bit, we can also see that mera, again, means chief of the caravans. And then if you look a little bit down further, you can also see mera inet. Mera in set means chief of the mountain track. Skip to the next page. Let's see here. So let's scroll down to where it says mera, and it means to guide. And below that, mer, the morus tree. All right. Then we can come up to the top of the second column again. We have mert. This one means sickness, illness, pain, sorrow, cruelty, grief, fatal disease, right? Sickness, again, a little bit lower. Then we look at right below that, mermut, also means amen. And then right below it, it means to die, dead, death, just as he demonstrated on his particular demonstration. But look how much stuff he's already left out. And like I said, I'm just getting started. Again, right below that, mer means damned, the damned one, a name. And then mer here where it means a protector of the dead. So I guess it can mean dead and a protector of the dead. All right. So then we have Merit, name of the goddess. Okay. So what I'm demonstrating here is all, again, we're talking about context, and we're talking about all of the different translations, transliterations, and definitions of the various variations of the way Moor is spelled throughout the Medu Neter, the ancient hieratic. Now, on page 315 at the top, on the first column, you see here Mera, which we've talked about a little while ago, an ancient name of Egypt. All right. And then it says the land of Mera. And then you see right below that, Meri, a kind of stone. So again, it's context. So what are we talking about, brother? You know, you got to make your point clear. Otherwise, we have to go back to my first point was the logical fallacy. And I showed and proved that the brother already, we've only been doing this for a few minutes now, but I'm showing you how the brother is trying to mislead the people, acting like he did some kind of research. He only had 5 slides up, and those slides all basically contradicted themselves. So again, in the first line, in the first column here, we scroll down halfway, we say mer, to see, to look, right? Mert, eye. These are all things that he said means death and only means death. Divine eyes, sun and moon, many-eyed, right? Again, mer on the right-hand side, to bind up, to tie together, to bind on a crown, to fetter, to be fettered. Then it says right below that, mert, which also meant death. And he was able to show one of those. But here it says love songs, band, bondage, girdle, fillet, tie, bundles of clothes. And then you see below that, mert, a house, a palace. Below that, mert, a quarter in a town or village, street or lane in the town. It's folly. It's foolishness for brothers to come out here and to put out information that is so deceiving and then try to spin a narrative just to sell a book. It's sad, because here we can see mer. It also means, what's that? Love, to desire, to wish for, to crave for, to will. And below that, yeah, I think we didn't talk about this one, but murmur, lovely, amiable. You know, it's kind of sad. And I'm going to keep going because it's plenty more. Mer, love, desire. Mert, love, desire, wish something, loved, longed, or wished for. And then at the bottom, mer, to wish for, to desire, to love. And you see the different spellings, but you see the similar meanings. Like these words are obviously cognates. you know, but you can also see where they will have the same spelling and mean totally different things. Let me see here. Now on this one, if I'm not mistaken, this is in the wrong place, so I'm just going to skip that one. But I want to show this one thing here where it says men, right? Because I'm going to deal with the word men as one of the words to show. I just put the slide in the wrong place. Excuse me, family. Men, you can see it means funeral, couch, death, bed, deathbed, excuse me, bier. So men also means death, right? But I'm going to show you all of the other different meanings for men shortly. Here's mer again, M-E-R. It means a milk pot. Below that, a hero, a brave man. Below that one, again, it's amen, to be sick, to be suffer. This is what he was showing. And where it says meru, sick man. Mer ari, a sick man, right? Then again, this is one we talked about on the second column, a protector of the dead, right? And then we see, as we scroll a little bit further down, you see mer. This is dealing with a pyramid or a tomb, right? Then we got meta again. And this particular meta, it stands for ships or a fleet of ships. It can also mean a sailor, depending on how they write out the hieroglyphics, but it has the same pronunciation. And you can see here, mer, this also means the basin of a harbor, port. Quai, harbor. Meta, again, flood, bodily excretion. All right. You can see here is many more tied to that term, mer. So this is page 312. You can see, actually, this is one of the ones I wanted to talk about too. Let me see here. Boom. All right. Actually, I'm gonna skip this one because it's getting a little more complex, and so I wanted to deal with the direct words that he was using to get, to really validate my claim and totally destroy his logical fallacies.
Let me say this: if somebody know the brother, because I see my brother. Let me see who the brother name. I think his name is. Are you correct? He said it would be nice if the brother would come into the chat. If anybody know the brother, and it'll be very respectful. Let him know that we live now. And I thought he was in the chat, but I see somebody just keep quoting his name. Let him know that we live. He's welcome to call in, or I will send him the link. I will send him the link so he can stand on his scholarship. One thing about the Moorish American, we don't run from scholarship. Not the Moorish Americans that really understand what they're into, and I'm talking about the scholarly Moors. I'm not talking about the regular Moors that just want to wake up every day, live, take care of their children. They ain't into all this. They thought that this is the right thing. But for the scholarly Moors, they know what's going on. And so anytime that we present something on Moorish World TV, if you know the person that stands in opposition to what we present, we invite him on. So if anybody know him, hit his inbox on Facebook and he can come on. It will be respectful. I'm not going to do no yelling. I yelled too much at Sinetta the other night. I yelled too much at Jabari. My voice can't take it tonight. I just want to learn something. I want him to show me that emphatically, as he states on his blog talk, that Moor means black and that black means death, which we don't even use it in the terminology like that. But with that, my brother Hernandez, chairman at the Moor Science Temple of America in Atlanta, is breaking down the terms where Moor was born from, or one of the terms, or one of the languages where the word Moor derives from. Right now, we're dealing with the meta-nature because a brother did a whole book, an entire book. He did a whole lecture or speech on Blog Talk Radio, and the entire thing said Moor means black, and black means death. We're saying that Moor, Mir, from the meta-nature, that's not what it means. In some instances, it does relate to that. But as a group of people, it doesn't relate to that. Let's go,
Context.
brother.
Again, it's context. So on this particular page, we see myrrh. It means a particle of prohibition. It also means like as, which we touched on earlier. We also see it here as a seagoing ship, right? We see myrrh as any collection of water, lake, pool. Let me make that a little bit larger. Cistern, reservoir, basin, canal, inundation, flood, stream, or plural, streams. Myrrh also means swampy land. It also means a libation tank. Okay. Now, this is a word I wanted to throw this in here because I know a lot of people toss this word around, mu. So again, when we look at it in its context, we can see in the ancient hieratic, the Medu-Neter, we see the divine essence of Osiris was translated as mu, and also the water god, the personification of the celestial waters was mu. Also, mu on the water of someone, dependent upon someone. This was in the dream stela, who was on his water, a dependent, a follower of one water of the same kidney, right? So I won't belabor the point of mu, but in mu you can see that it has many definitions also, but you can see it's also heavily related to water. Okay, and even myrrh has a lot of relationships to water as well. I'll skip this one. So I have many slides to get through, so I want to make sure I give you all, the best information. And you can see here myrrh on the first column. If you scroll all the way down to the bottom, third from the bottom, you can see where it means a sacred serpent kept as Edfi, the protecting spirit of the inundation, again referring to the flood. On this particular page, this was the bottom of one of the pages, so I won't go into that. As we can see here again, Mary, lover, a loved one, something loved. Let me see here. All right, so now that we've kind of really gone in on Mer and Mar and Mari and all of the different variations, now let's look at the term men that I brought up earlier. So we saw that earlier it meant death. Now this now means division of word, doubtful, to offer. It also means to bring, to present, again, to offer. So that's 4 different variations of the word men. Now let's look at the word ta. So ta, which we know is a reference to land in general, but you can also see it has many other meanings. Because see ta here means, what's up?
Pardon me for the interruption.
Yes.
My brother in the chat, West Coast Muslim, he said, do you have a blog on this? He would love to go and study this. He would like to look into this.
We're doing it right now, brother. So I would suggest that you go back through the show and I gave the sources, so you'll be able to download this. Those particular Egyptian dictionaries are available for free online in PDF format.
Say it one more time.
Yeah, so we provided the sources, so just go back. It's online for free in a PDF format. You can order them online as well. These books are quite expensive if you do order them, so just be prepared to spend $50 to $100 for each volume, but it's well worth it if you do decide to do that. But back to top.
There you go, West Coast Muslim. You actually can download the book. I'm going to have him show it again, or I will have him
back up.
into the chat, if you will, Hernandez, because I want people to know, man, but that this ain't no pseudo-Muslim, pseudo-Moorish American stuff. This is the real deal, every life educated Moorish American talking right here.
So if you want to find it, family, just go type into your Google search or whatever search engine you like to use, E.A. Wallace Budge, and type in Egyptian Dictionary Volume 1 and or Volume 2. And then type PDF after that, and you should be able to find a free format. You may have to log into certain, it's available all over in formats. Some people allow you to directly download it. Others will make you maybe sign in and become a member before they allow you to download it, but it is available for free. So as we can see here, ta, it also means boundary. It also means a plant. It also means to defile, to pollute, to be impure. So again, it's context. I want to keep driving that home because what the brother was doing was definitely disingenuous. And that is a type of logical fallacy, meaning that he was using what he knew to confuse people without giving them the full story. And that's one thing, as soon as you study the logical fallacies, and that's why I started the show with that, because I want the people to be very versed in logical fallacies so that when they start to hear people talk, they can tell immediately, even if they haven't studied the subject, if that person is being disingenuous or not, based on how they pose certain questions, based on how they make certain statements. And most of our people are not aware of this and need to become aware of this so that we can start to again, expose this type of behavior in the community. Because to me, I mean, that's agent type behavior. So I'm going to keep on going. Ta, as you can see here, also means fluid of some kind, a drink. It also means to journey. Ta also means bread, loaf, cake, a cake made of fruit, mulberry bread. As you can see, again, scroll down some more, the 7 cake, the 3 meals of heaven, meals of the 2 meals of earth, the 4 cakes of Shechem. So again, we're just talking about context. So if you were speaking the hieratic language and you said ta, there's so many things that can mean, and just in reference and context to the conversation that you're having. Just like the word more in modern day English, which we're going to touch on and we have already, but it can mean a rope, a way to tie a boat down. It could mean one of us, one of so-called, so-called black people. And I'm going to deal with that and show and prove that more does not mean black or vice versa. So again, here, we're still dealing with ta because I want to drive this point. A mark of dual later. It means on the one hand. It also means staff, support, to beat, to break, to smash. So these are all different. I can keep going. The primeval earth god, husbands of the sky goddess, earth gods of opposed sky god. As you can see, most of these words have many varied meanings. Again, earth god, a district god, the god of a circle. Now again, I'm going to end the Ta presentation with Tamarau, the people of the land of the Nile flood, the Egyptians. Ta, if you see that, that's the land. Mer, in the middle, that's the people. So the people were called Mer. Marau, AU, denotes plurality in the hieratic language, the ancient Medu Neter. So we're talking about the people of Egypt, the Mers, the Moors. So again, brothers, yes, sir.
One more time for the people. Mm-hmm. One more time for the people. I want to play what he say about Tamar. Mm-hmm. And because it strikes me, as you said, as Asian behavior, because I've never, ever heard anybody ever say that Tamar means the land of the dead. Never.
No.
Ever. Mm-hmm. He was the first time that I ever heard someone say this. Let's hear from his mouth. Here you go.
But first, however, the damned, a title of Set is Lud, meaning the damned one. Then we show the Medu or hieroglyph of the term for pyramid, which is Mer. Of course, that is a sanctuary or a structure dedicated to the dead. The dead were often buried in the Moor, the pyramid. Finally, we have a name of Kemet, Ta-Mera, or Meri, depending on dialect. The term Ta means land, Mer, Mera, Meri references the land of Mera, or Meri, the Mera land. Then we show them a duty for that. People have heard the term Ta-Meri, and they think it means the cultivated land, and it doesn't mean the cultivated land. It references the dead land. Mer reference.
Now, all of every study I've ever seen about the fertile land and the the fertile Nile,
That's right.
I have never once, ever heard anything like this.
Referencing dead, death, flood, swamp. Why is this so? It is rooted in the cosmology of ancient Kemet. But first, however, let's look at the etymology of the term Moor as propounded by the whites and their offspring. So we have an entry from etymological dictionary. You can look at any etymological.
Now, he already went through that this here doesn't even exist. As far as we know, I'm not going to say it doesn't exist, but
Yeah, he made that up, brother. That's not in there. I looked all the way through the dictionary for that. That's why there's not a screenshot of it.
yeah, MRU.
Yeah, that's why there's no screenshot. He actually typed that up and added that himself.
He did what?
He typed it up and had added it himself.
This is ridiculous. Anyway, come on, brother. I'm gonna let y'all know I was gonna do a show after this, but the brother got so many slides. We got about 30 minutes left. I'm gonna let my brother go in and take us all home because it seems like the audience, the students and the people willing to learn and want to learn, they're enjoying this. So we're gonna just keep it going, and I'll probably go live tomorrow with the show that I was gonna do on the second side. Come on, my brother.
All right, so we're gonna just continue where we were at. So Tamarau again, and notice the brother said that the Moors, the pyramids, were where people were buried, and you can go to any of the major pyramids, and you'll see that no one was buried there. Those were not tombs. So again, another logical fallacy. Now in Nubia, you can find pyramids where people were actually buried. They're much smaller, but in ancient Egypt, it's not so. So let me continue here. But again, so Tamarau is the people of the land of the Nile flood, the Egyptians. And again, we were talking about a little bit earlier, Tameri, which means the beloved land. So these are the beloved people. Notice many times when Moors are speaking in the common vernacular of today, and even throughout the Middle Ages and throughout time, there's always been a reference to beloved. You know, when we speak to each other, that is often a term of endearment that we use. Let me continue. So here's a different word, and this is gonna be the last word that I drive into the ground from the metal netter. This is ka. And, you know, ka is one of those words you hear a lot being thrown around, the ka and the ba, right? So the soul and spirit and the body and all that stuff. So you can see here, ka also represents the bull, all right? But then if we go to this one, we can see that it also means a god of letters and learning, one of the 7 sons of Meherut. You can see it's also the bull with a light in his eye, and it's also a representation of a calf god. So again, many different meanings. Now, I'm gonna deal with what you had just stated about Moor meaning black. He's just left. Okay. It says here, contrary to popular belief, the word Moor does not mean black, but the word Moor, the modern day English term for those people who have been branded with the slave label black, first became cognate to the term black in late Greek. When I read earlier the etymology of Moor, it mentioned that. This can be verified in examining both word origins. The etymology of the word Moor implies indigenous African origins, as I read, and you can pull up, if you go to etymonline.com, type in the word M-O-O-R. When you find the one, it's going to be 3 different ones that pop up, and I'll show you that in a second. You'll see that it has indigenous African origins, while the term black can be traced to its Germanic roots. So I don't know if y'all caught that. So that's what causes it to be a false cognate, because they do not share the same root. So based on my research, Moor and black are in fact false cognates, pairs of words in the same or different languages that are similar in form and meaning, but have different roots. That is, they appear to be or are sometimes considered cognates when in fact they are unrelated. So that term, Moor means black, logical fallacy. It's a false cognate. The Europeans in late Greek began to associate the term Moor with black because of the European psychology. Now let's deal with Spanish. The Moors created the Spanish language from combining Arabic and Latin. A Moor's proper designation in Spanish is moreno, which means por el sol, or from the sun. Dark, swarthy, tanned, brown, which is accurate and respectful. Those of you who speak Spanish or may have taken Spanish classes know that when you speak Spanish, there's very strict rules on how it deals with people. So when you're dealing with an elder or dealing with people in general, you cannot describe a person as being a color. You cannot describe when you talk to elders, you have to speak to them in a certain way. When you speak to children, you speak to them a certain way. When you speak to a man or woman, they all receive their own conjugation of the verb, and it has to be in a way that is respectful. So this all changed once the Moors were defeated in Spain and in Portugal. They began to pass certain laws, which the Moors then became Moriscos, or the little Moors, and then Negritos, the little blacks, and Negroes, just plain old black. And you can find this in several of the old Spanish laws and Portuguese laws dated as early as 1441, all the way to 1491, 1492, etc. Many of the papal bulls also contain that information. Now, let me see here. Go to the next one. So allow me to give you some definitions for Negro and examples of its use in context in the modern Spanish tongue through Spanish to English translations for you, the reader's full consideration. All right. So Negro, which also means black, right? So it's an adjective. Awful, rotten, suerte, black, gloomy, porvenir. Llevo una tarde negra. I'm having a terrible afternoon. Parsalas negras, to have a hard time. Verlo todo negro, to be a pessimistic. Furious, fuming, informal, furioso. Me pone negro, a que nunca me avisen de nada. It makes me mad that they never tell me anything. So this is just showing how the term black or Negro is used in the Spanish language. Now check this out. As a masculine or feminine noun, mind you, this is disrespectful. So black man, black woman, trabajar como un negro, informal, figurative, to work like a slave. Negro means slave. If you go and study the black codes of South Carolina, chapter 1, I believe it's page 1, chapter 4, you'll find that the term Negro is confined to the enslaved African, the descendants of the ancient Berbers or Moors. So again, you can see how Negro is confined to the slave, nothing else. And Negro means black. So here we have a piece that I pulled from Light and Truth by Robert Benjamin Lewis. And you see the word Negro. Negro is derived from the Latin term Niger, meaning black. Niger, a Latin word, was formerly used by the Moors, the old Romans, to designate any black inferior object, a plant, a marsh, flat, moist ground, bog, or animal. Okay, it's very clear. Now let's look at the etymology of Niger. It's going to say the same thing, basically. Here's Niger, African nation, named for the river Niger, mentioned by the name in the 1520s. That's the earliest recorded by Leo Africanus, probably an alteration by influence of Latin Niger or black, of local Tuareg name, Igeru, Nigerian from Ijeru, big river, sea, Nigerian, plural for that word, translated in Arabic as Nar al-Amhur, rivers of the river, river of the rivers. All right. So a little bit about the Moors. The Moors are historically distributed from the Atlantic Ocean to the Siwa Oasis in Egypt, and from the Mediterranean Sea to the Niger River. Historically, they spoke Berber languages from the Afro-Asiatic and thus descend from the Proto-Afro-Asiatic language family, which formed the Berber branch. That particular source, I believe that is a Dr. Ben quote. My bibliography is on that particular video for that. You can pull that up if you need more research and information into that. So that's a direct quote from one of our great scholars. It may have been Dr. Clark as well. At this point, I forgot which one that particular one was, but it is in my bibliography on that particular video. Now, let me move on a little bit further because I want to show you how deep the rabbit hole goes here. However, one of the most widely spoken of Moorish ancient languages are spoken by the sub-Saharan Mosi people, the largest ethnic group of Burkina Faso, constituting more than 40% of that population. This language is known as More, Moba, or Moab. And again, for those Moors in the chat and listening, that's for you. Just wanted to add that in because you need to know that. Moab is also spoken in Ghana as well, and is actually part of the Gur languages belonging to the Niger-Congo language family, also classified as Senufo or Senufic languages, spoken the north of Ivory Coast, the south of Mali, and the southwest of Burkina Faso. To make it plain, we called ourselves Moors, Morenos, Mari, Meri, Merau, Meru, Moab, Moabite, Almoravid, etc. And therefore they, the European, called us Moors or Moros in late Greek, which later became a synonym for Negro or Black in the English language later between the 16th and 17th century CE. Now, we'll look at the English breakdowns of this because we just went through the metal netter. Now we want to touch on this. So as you can see, a moor again means to fasten a vessel by a cable, probably related to Old English marels, mooring rope, which we also dealt with, right? Via unrecorded Morien to moor, possibly borrowed from Middle Low German, Morden, or Middle Dutch, Morden to moor, the West Germanic Marehan, related to moored, mooring, French amarer is from Dutch. And then it says moor, waste ground, Old English mar, maras, swamp, Proto-Germanic, mora. So as we can see again, we're talking about swampland, which we also dealt with in the Medu Neter. Now again, we read this one already, so I won't belabor the point, but more the North African Berber, right? So it's different. Again, it's context. So I'm gonna bring it all the way back to that point, to context. What are we talking about? So, you know, I'm gonna keep going. Morton, I wanted to deal with this because this is also a breakdown from, you know, this goes into the death side of it, right? So let's read what Morton. Morton is a surname from the many Mortons on the map of English, literally moor or marsh settlement. Okay, so again, we're talking about something related to the marsh. So that surname Morton comes from people who lived in England, who lived or settled near a marsh. Mooring, place where vessel can be moored, meaning where you can tie your boat down, process of making a ship secure. Moorish, of or pertaining to the Moors, right? That's talking about us. And then you have moorings, ropes, etc., by which a floating thing is made fast, right? Then we have Maurice, proper name from French Maurice, from late Latin Mauritius, from Latin Maurus, inhabitant of Mauritania. Moor, see Moor, right? So again, context, who and what are we talking about? Now Mar, this is one of the ones from the Medu Neter as well. So Mar, we can see here to waste, and I brought this up early. Remember I said marred, and it said like to hold back, to tie down, to oppress. So as we can see here, it says to waste, to spoil, to hinder, to obstruct. So again, we can relate this word all the way back to the Medu Neter. Okay, mer, which we were talking about. Let's see what mer means in the English language. Proto-Indo-European root, meaning to rub away, harm, possibly identical with the root mer that means to die, and forms words referring to death and to being subject to death, right? Isn't that what he was talking about? So here, mere, unmixed, pure, what does that say? Mire, pure, of gold, entire, total, complete, and directly from Latin metus, unmixed, of wine, pure, bare, naked, figuratively true, real, genuine, probably, originally, clear, bright. Let's scroll down. So here, mere, and you see mere, sea, ocean, lake, pool, pond. Now, didn't we see that in the Medu Neter? Mari, from the Norse mar, from meri, right? Sea. Then we find that in the Medu Neter. Meer, Dutch, meer, lake, sea, pool. Old High German, mari, German, meer, sea. Gothic, more, sea. Again, body of water. Now, mortgage, right? So mortgage, conveyance of property as security for a loan of agreement. From Old French mortgage, mort, to gauge, literally a dead pledge. Now, what does that mean exactly? So replaced in modern French by hypothèque, from mort, dead, see mortal, gauge, pledge, see wage, so called because the deal dies either when the debt is paid or when payment fails. Now, I've heard brothers like Polite say that this is a death pledge, and he did not go in and explain. I've heard other brothers do the same thing and just try to say, yeah, because you sign it till you're dead. No, they're talking about the contract when the deal dies, either when the debt is paid or when payment fails. Old French mort is from Vulgar Latin mortis, dead, right? And again, I showed you that T. I said, remember the T. So if you rewind this back, I said at the beginning, I said, when you're dealing with more and you see it have something to do with death, you're going to see that T usually engaged in that. And you see here, mortis in the Latin, dead, from Latin mortus, past participle of mori, to die, med, to rub away, harm, also to die, and forming words referring to death and to being subject to death. As we can see here, these all are related. Mortal, mortal things of substance. Latin mortalis also is used as a noun, man, mortal human being. Mortally, to the death, resulting in death, also bitterly, intensely, from mortal. Mortified, again, mortgage, mortice, mortuary, mortar, mortar, mortician, right? Mort, but it also means girl, woman, especially of loose morals, from the 1560s. This was canting jargon of unknown origin. So again, that was slang. And now we have mare, or here's mare, a female horse. So all of these different variations of this word, morti, Proto-Indo-European root meaning body of water. And again, I have many slides, so I'm trying to get through them as quick as I can without really repeating myself. You see there, mare again, female horse, and then look at the second one. You see mare, night goblin, incubus, Old English, mare, incubus, nightmare, monster, from mera, mere, from Proto-Dramitic, maran, goblin. So you can see that.
Islam, brother.
Islam.
All right. Now, and I keep seeing people keep saying the same thing, that it's easy to rebut when the other person is not here. I'm going to say it again. Maybe you're just coming in the chat. If you know the brother who did the presentation, if you're friends with him on Facebook, he is welcome to come on Moorish World TV at any given moment. I will not yell. I will not cut him off. I know for a fact that he cannot stand on his scholarship. Basically, if you see this from the beginning, we're not saying that there is not times when Moor, Moor, or whatever the brother is saying didn't mean death in the Medu Neter. what we're saying is that it doesn't only mean that, as he tried to infer. He says that Tamari means the land of the dead. Now, if anybody knows the basics of Medunezer, they know Tamari never meant the land of the dead.
That's right.
I mean, that's the basics. So I want to say again, if y'all know the brother, just because you study Medunezer, and just because you are a part of some Kemetic community, that doesn't mean that your brother can't be wrong. It doesn't mean that. Now, hold on, one second. Show you what I got behind me. This hangs on the wall in my house. I took it down to show this because when we see this here, we have to deal with equity. The first principle of my act is I have not done inequity. I have not done inequity. This brother was very inequitable in his research. He didn't give the upside, the downside. He gave one conclusion and left it at that and wrote a whole book about it. Matter of fact, he goes against every scholar in the Kemetic community by saying that Moor means one simple thing. I've never heard one scholar to say. Now, I've been heard brothers from the Amen Ra Squad. I done heard brothers from on Sinetta TV say something to the effect that Moor means this or Moor means that or something like that. But they never ever was so biased that that meant that they were saying that it concludes and that's it, that's all. Never. I've never heard that. This is the first time that I ever heard that a brother said, anytime that you see the word Moor or Moor, it means death. Anywhere, that's what it means. So that's what we're addressing now. Yeah, everybody thumbs up on this video because my brother going in. He got about 10, 15 more minutes, and we're going to wrap it up because he didn't dice this real up. Brother, the floor is yours.
Islam more. Definitely. And so to anybody listening that hasn't caught the entire show, please go back to the very beginning and take notes, because basically what I'm doing is just showing improvement. Again, it's all about context. And this brother was using logical fallacies. And for those of you who have said in the chat that, you know, it's easy to rebut when a person is not here, all I did was pull up the brother's information, and then I pulled up his source, and then I was able to rebut it with his own source. All I did was open it up. He picked and chose what he wanted to show. I'm showing you it all. So now you can use discernment so that you can see the truth from the fiction. So now we're dealing with the term black itself. I won't spend too much time on it, but one thing you will see if you go to edamonline.com and you type in black, you won't see a direct relationship to the word Moor. However, you will see a relationship to the term blackamoor, which in many respects referred to, not only was it disrespectful, and there are some brothers who have a different take on that, and I have actually written an 18-page rebuttal to that particular breakdown, but there's actually evidence that it suggests that blackamoor was extremely disrespectful, and in fact, it meant an inanimate object, pieces of art. Later on, people, you know, so how could you say black and Moor are the same word when you put black before Moor, right? So you're trying to make a distinction using black as the adjective to describe the noun, the Moor. So that's where the term blackamoor came from. Again, this is the European ideology. This is a very prejudiced type of word that we're talking about. And you can find, again, so I'm going to read the first one real quick. It just says Old English, the color black, also ink, from the noun black, adjective from the late 14th century, a dark spot in the pupil of the eye, the meaning dark-skinned person, African, from the 1620s, perhaps the 13th century, and blackamoor is from the 1540s, meaning black clothing, especially when worn in mourning. So again, blackamoor is talking about an inanimate object again. So I already mentioned that, but reading it puts it into context, which is what we're talking about. Now, if we scroll down to the bottom to the third definition of black, the adjective, I'm going to skip down to the second paragraph, and feel free to read it all because it's all worth reading, but I don't want to belabor the point and read everything on here. It says the same root produced Old English black, bright, shining, glittering, pale, the connecting notion being perhaps fire, bright, and burn, dark. The usual Old English word for black was swart, right? Or swart, where you get Schwartz, right? Like Schwarzenegger, right? And you can see here, it says it is often doubtful whether Blake means black, dark, or pale, colorless, wan, livid, used of dark-skinned people in Old English. So again, this is the English that came up with this word for us, which I've already broken that down. But again, those of us who continue, once they know the truth, continue to call themselves black, you are agreeing with your oppressor, your so-called oppressor, what might have been referred to as your slave master. You are agreeing with him in what he decided to call you out of your own name. This was his prejudice label that they put upon you. Again, so let's deal with swart, right? Because it said, yeah, that's what we're talking about. Old English swart, black, dark, of night, clouds, also figurative, wicked, infamous, and you'll find these types of definitions in the English language as well. Dealing with this black alone, if you go back to the last page and you read that whole thing, it will cover all of this. Wicked, infamous, Swarta, Saxon from Middle Dutch, swart, Dutch, zwart, Old Norse, zwarter, German, schwarz, Gothic, swartz, dark colored, black. Let's see here, swarto, dirty, dark black, sordid, right? The true Germanic word surviving the continental languages displaced in English by black, of skin color of persons from the late 14th century, related swartas. And let me just deal with something. Regardless of how dark any of our people might be, unless they are actually dead and are suffering from necrosis of the skin, they will not be black skinned. Facts. Sordid, which is the word that the last definition was referring to. It means festering, from the Latin sordidus, dirty, filthy, foul, vile, mean, base. You can get the drift on that. All right. So again, these words black and Negro also mean nigger. Excuse my language, but this is a word that they use for us. And as you can see here, black is definitely cognate to nigger, is definitely cognate to Negro, but you will see that there is not one suggestion of it being cognate to Moor, which it would have to, because nigger simply means black, although it has many other meanings that are also very disrespectful. As you can see down here at the bottom, niggardly person, just all of the different variations of that. You can go into that another day. And again, we've already dealt with the term Negro, but feel free to pause that and read that or pull that up on edamonline.com so that you can become further equipped. And you can see again, Negro makes a direct connection to the term black being cognate, but you can see Moor is not on this page. If they were cognate, if they were supposed to be the same thing, you would find it there. Murder, again, this is another M-U-R word, or as you can see here, it actually relates to M-E-R. And so that to die, to rub away, as we dealt with a few slides back, you can see the connection to murder. So again, there is a connection with that word M-E-R to death, but as we've also seen, it also has relationships to water, types of people, to land, gods, amen, all types of things. Okay, now I just wanted to deal with this. So the C, just go directly to the word C that you find, and you'll see right there. It has the cognates that it's related to is mare and mere, right? So again, dealing with these bodies of water, these pools of water, these lakes, these seas, etc. And again, this goes all the way back, and you'll find it not only in the English language, but in the Medu Neter, in other languages as well, mostly the Romance languages. And I just wanted to also show with this slide, so as we can see that this word see and this word see, although they have very different meanings, have the same sound, is the same sounding word, just like myrrh has a million different definitions in the ancient hieratic, the Medu Neter. You can see that see, as I showed with other words as well, also have the same sounds, the same, spelling or similar spelling, but different meanings. So again, it's back to context and to show and prove that this brother is using logical fallacies. Because if you go into any of your research and you don't find that, then either you're not a good researcher or you're intentionally trying to mislead people. Simple and plain. So again, I brought up the T behind the word Moor, which really shows or denotes death. So you can see mort, note sounded on a horn at the death of a quarry. 1500 from French mort, dead. And again, you can see how it's related. Its root is myrrh, right? And we already showed this several times: to rub away, to harm, to die. And again, I think we touched on some of these, but these are some more: mortal, mortify, mortuary. Tear, which is the other word that we saw, and this actually gets into to rub, to rub away, as we showed in the previous slide here. There's many connections to words, but let me deal with this. If you have anything to say, Taharka, I'm gonna stop there and I'll pick up, because I know you wanted to touch on some nationality stuff.
Yeah. What I want to do is I want to do a part 2 of this, because you've been going in, and I want to offer the brother to come on the show.
Indeed.
I want to offer him to come on the show with all the slides that you have, because I know you probably got 50 more slides.
Yeah, I had to put him in my trash bin until I was trying to trim it down.
So, but I want you to hold on to that, because we can do a part 2. It's 10 o'clock on the East Coast right now. I want you to hold that, and I would like to do a part 2. I will offer him to come on. If you don't want to come on by Tuesday, then you can pick up by Tuesday and continue to teach this. I want to ask anybody in the chat, are y'all interested in learning the rest of the connection that our brother Hernandez L has researched? Press a 1, because we can definitely continue to go on and on and on with this and knock this out the box. This brother has done extensive research. He has spent hours upon hours upon hours putting this together for the platform, and I would encourage that. So we got some ones in here. So let's do this, family. On Wednesday night, let's see what the brother is good. What is good for you, my brother Hernandez L?
Let's see. This coming week, to be honest, the next best day is probably going to be the next Sunday. This week looks kind of busy for me, to be honest, in the evenings.
So look, we're going to take a week, family. We're going to take, you said next Sunday?
Yes.
All right, we're going to take a week, and we're going to try to get this brother in the chat. Brother, I know how Moor is. See, Moor's a fighter, and this is an intellectual fighter, Brother Hernandez L. And he want to give it to you all. But we're going to go until 1 o'clock if we do that. So what I would like to do is try to get the brother in the chat. I want to be gracious to the brother. Amen Hotep said Moor means slave. Amen Hotep, if you want to step in, the gas footwear, Islam, brother. You know I got to give you that call. I got to get, see, the gas, he's not a Hotepper. The gas footwear, that is the brother that sells the shoes that you might see Unc with, Unc Akanet. You might see my brother, what's my other brother is, my goodness, Rebel. You might see Rebel with him. Sometimes I be playing with Unc, and I tell him, man, I don't want them shoes. I don't want them. But this is my brother in the gas. He's not a hotepper. See, it's a difference between the hotepper and the true comedic scientist, or one who is up. Hold up, let me turn my mic on, because I want y'all to see. There is a difference between the hotepper and the true comedic science brother. And the comedic science brother don't mean that you can break down Medunetta word for word, glyph for glyph. Doesn't mean that you're going to wear onks and carry onks in your hand all the time. You know what I mean? I am a priest. I am a priest. I am clergy. You see, I'm clergy. See, I wouldn't do that. I'm clergy. No, those are hoteppers. Those are hoteppers. My brother in the gas, my brother Rebel, Amen Hotep, people like that, man, are all right with me. Even though Amen Hotep want to shoot shots, man, y'all love the white man. Man, we love purity. White mean pretty, pretty mean God, God mean rule of the land. We ain't talking about no human being. You know what I mean? We rule this land. Amen Hotep. But as long as you don't cuss, you are. But anyway, check out the gas, man, if y'all get a chance, and look them up. You know, Amen Hotep said Moor means white man slave. Brother, see, you one of them provocateurs. And what I do with the provocateurs, because you ain't going to bring no science, you ain't going to bring no reference, you ain't going to bring nothing. So I'm going to do like they did Bill Cosby for 6 months. I'll put you in timeout. But with that, brother, can you close out on a heavy thought real quick?
Yes, indeed. Let me just say this, because the brother made a comment as well dealing with nationality, and I'm sure you can go on a little bit further. I just wanted to quote two people real quick, and that's Dr. Henry Clark and also our illustrious brother Marcus Mosiah Garvey. So the first quote from Dr. Clark, to quote the master teacher, Dr. Clark, "You answer to such stupid words as Negro, colored, and black. You have no nationality. Negro, black, and colored are not a nationality." Now, we have to really consider that this brother was quite contemporary, or shortly thereafter was around shortly after the prophet's time doing this research. Do you think it was by chance that he used that particular languaging to say what he had to say regards to nationality? I think not. He knew the science that the prophet had brought. And if you study his books, his works actually confer and confirm the prophet's teachings. Also, when we're dealing with our harbinger, the illustrious Marcus Mosiah Garvey, he was quoted as saying, "The Negro wants a nationality equal to that of the French, the English, the Japanese, the Chinese, the Irish, etc." It was Prophet Noble Drew Ali who came and brought to us a nationality on this land for the first time since 1774, when we were stripped of our fezzes and turbans and branded with the slave label of Negro, black, and colored. Islam.
Islam, my brother. And now I'm glad you said that, because I want to inform people that I'm going to do a basic show coming. I'm going to do a basic show coming up this Tuesday about nationality. What we're going to do, the show is going to be basically real basic. And I'm going to show you the flyer that I put out. It's going to be real basic, back to the basic, because sometimes we do shows and we get all the hooping and hollering, and all that's good. You know what I mean? I was going to do it today, as you can see. I was going to do it today, but we're going to do it on Tuesday. We get all the hooping and hollering, as you know. We get the back and forth, and then we get a straight educated show like today. And now we get the Azim Hopkins Bay show, but we're gonna break these down here. These three concepts: nationality, and I misspelled that. Don't worry about it. I get it right. Don't worry about it. I mess up. Shoot. God concept, customs and tradition, And when we're talking about the Moorish Science Temple of America, that was a typo. Hey, you know what? When you can't spell today, you can say, man, that was a typo. That way you can't spell. So, man, I would like to thank my guest, my brother Hernandez L. I think he did a wonderful job, and I can't wait for part 2. We're going to do the part 2 on Sunday, unless he called me and he had time before then. Pay attention, and we getting this thing right. I'm headed to your temple soon, Talker. Brother, come to the temple. Come on. Hey, Kofi, I ain't got Kofi, I'm busy. Get on me, Kofi. I was trying to get on to Harker Bay. I'm a proofread next time. All right? I'm a proofread next time. I need a second time. I need some money so I can hire a second time. But with that, we up out here. We got things to do. But I'm going to play my new song. I'm going to break it down to y'all. Let me break it down to y'all. Let me break it down. That is. Hey! I beat that boy, you gon' remember. I'm gonna beat that boy, you gon' remember. That's right. I beat that boy, you gon' remember. To Harker Bay, front line to the law, call my number. I beat that boy, you gon' remember. I'm gonna beat that boy, you gon' remember. That's right. I beat that boy, you gon' remember. To Harker Bay, front line to the law, call my number. If you a friend of the Moor, then you a friend of mine. I was told to watch my enemies, now hold that line. Don't you speak against the prophet, they speak against me. And I speak about the prophet over you, Riley. Who was the first to remind you and wind you back to the rock or the mountain, Mississippi, and Quebec? Told you wasn't black, moving was straight back. You tripping off jumps, you need to be tripping off that. And here we go again, acting like you a slave. The same people talk European how to pay. And hey, let's buy European hair. Hey, one of myself, but you the men for the good. Hell no, but they got a love for sure. Hey, generation, take the pill, feed the serve. Yeah, and I don't got it. Teach it, preach it, come out, amigo, bomb, lose it. The way the love for the woman look like a mother. I guess they say it's all black when it's out of the cover. Now it's like, I'll be the one you gon' remember. I'm gonna be that boy you gon' remember, that's right. I'll be that boy you gon' remember. To Harker Bay, front line to the law, call my number. I'll be that boy you gon' remember. I'm gonna be that boy you gon' remember, that's right. I'll be that boy you gon' remember. To Harker Bay, front line to the law, call my number. Silver dollars holler. This ever for the workers, you ain't building on the ground, then you working in the church. You know it sound good, but that's only on the surface. Hey, people. Tell me what's your purpose. And worry about your homie that know that I know. Every month that I can play, he ain't my flow. So you know I ain't slow, I see it all before. I ain't trying to get about it, it was all for show. It's somebody right now, don't say that I'm not down. I'm coming for my bad mistakes, I want my town. I shine, I say, I school, my nation, hey, I'm with my fascination, and the nation. Y'all see hate with love and the same. You don't love yourself, so you can't love your neighbor. That's why you kill and fight and marry all of your race. If you ain't from Moorish world, then get out of my face. Hey! Let's go. I'll be that boy you gon' remember. I'm gonna be that boy you gon' remember, that's right. I'll be that boy you gon' remember. To Harker Bay, front line to the law, call my number. I'll be that boy you gon' remember. I'm gonna be that boy you gon' remember, that's right. I'll be that boy you gon' remember. To Harker Bay, front line to the law, call my number. I'll be that boy you gon' remember. Hey, read it back. I'll be that boy you gon' remember that time. I'll be that boy you gon' remember. To Harker Bay, front line to the law, call my number. I'll be that boy you gon' remember. Hey, I'll be that boy you gon' remember.